What is up, everybody? I am so excited because it's finally time to share with you all A113, my brand new Pixar story based off the entire Pixar universe, the Pixar theory. So many amazing moments in this script that I truly love. 6 months ago, I pitched you all the idea on TikTok, and you all loved it. And everyone's saying, oh, someone should make this, someone should make this, someone should make this, get this to Pixar. And I was just sitting there thinking, well, why don't I just write it? So I did. I spent 6 months writing it. It originally started out as a movie. I threw away 12 different drafts. I just didn't like it. I just didn't feel like it was flowing. I didn't feel like it was doing justice to the story you guys wanted to be told so badly. So finally, lucky draft number 13, I figured it out. I changed it from a movie to a series, so this is the pilot episode. Also, this way I could share with you guys what I worked on without revealing too much, so hey, if Pixar's interested, then you never know. While I'm reading the script, I hope you guys keep in mind that if you truly want to see this made, because really the only place this can go is Pixar. Pixar is the only studio who can ever pick this story up. If you guys want to see this be made and you don't want me to go to jail for making it, please on all social media platforms, TikTok, Twitter especially, but Instagram, all of them, use hashtag BearConsA113. Spread the word in the description down below. If you don't want to listen to me read the script, you can go read it for yourself, but share that link with everybody. Spread the story. Because honestly, the true and only way to get Pixar's attention is if the story is trending. So that's just the reality of it. But in the meantime, I am super excited to share with you all this story. So with all that being said, A113 starts in Boo's bedroom, just like we last saw it in Monsters, Inc. Boo, aka Mary Gibbs, age 2, slowly walks to her closet door. She smiles as she opens the door, hoping to return to the monster world she knows and loves. Mary opens the door and her smile quickly vanishes. Instead of the monster world, she finds her regular clothes hanging in place. Mary closes the door and sits on the ground. She starts to cry. She reaches for her bear that was once held by her monster companion, Sully. She tightly grasps the doll, searching for comfort. As tears stream down her face, Mary notices something from where her bear once laid. A single blue hair. Mary puts down her bear and reaches for the strand of hair. Mary says, "Kitty?" Mary Gibbs' classroom, 2009. Mary Gibbs is now in the 1st grade. Sitting at her desk, she nervously waits to be called up to the front of the classroom by Miss Wendy, her teacher, for show and tell. Miss Wendy: I know we're all very excited for show and tell, but we must still remember to be respectful of all our classmates. Today, we're showing our friends things that we love and cherish. I'll go first. Miss Wendy reaches behind her desk and pulls out a Buzz Lightyear doll. This is Buzz Lightyear. He is a brave and loyal friend that I've had for a long time now. I still remember my parents taking me to see Lightyear, my favorite film, on opening night. The very next morning, they surprised me with my own Buzz. He has numerous sound effects, a laser, and his own pair of wings. Although I'll admit his wings are damaged. It's still a mystery to this day. Regardless, I'll always have a special place in my heart for him. Thank you. The classroom cheers. Now who would like to go next? A sea of hands raised in the air. Miss Wendy examines them all. Bora, why don't you come up to the front of the class and show us what you brought today? Seated next to Mary, Bora, a Turkish boy, jumps over his seat with enthusiasm, running to the front of the room with his backpack in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you. Bora reaches into his bag and pulls out Frank, a stuffed gorilla. Kong, king of the apes. You can also call him Frank. He's my best friend. He used to be able to talk, but not after his adventure with our cat. My mom stitched him up really well, look. Bora shows off the stitches to his classmates. I love Frank. I hope one day we go on adventures together too. The classroom claps as Bora returns to his seat. There is a montage of kids showing off items such as toys, necklaces, hats, all eager to participate, except one, Miss Wendy. Mary, would you like to come up to the front of the class? Mary nervously pulls out a plastic bag from her backpack and makes her way to the front of the classroom. Miss Wendy says to her, "Whenever you're ready, dear." Mary takes a breath She opens the plastic bag and reveals the blue piece of fur. This is from my friend Kitty. He's as tall as this classroom and very fluffy. He's blue with purple spots and has a long tail. He saved me from an evil lizard monster that can camouflage. I used to be scared of him, but Kitty made me brave. I hope to visit him one day again. The classroom is quiet for a moment. The silence breaks with snickering that gradually grows into a classroom full of laughter. Even Miss Wendy can't hide her smile. Well, Mary, that was a very creative presentation. You have a wonderful imagination. Mary looks up to her. Kitty's real. Of course he is, sweetie. Mary heads back to her seat. The kids continue to laugh as she walks by them. In the cafeteria later, Mary sits with Bonnie, a little girl with a kind heart. She looks exactly how we last saw her in Toy Story 4. They sit together alone at a lunch table. Bonnie says, I liked your story today. Thanks, Bonnie. A few of her classmates come up behind her. A bully has a gecko in his hands. He sneaks up behind them. Boo! Mary jumps in her seat and Bonnie runs away. The bully holds the lizard to her face. What's wrong? I thought you weren't afraid of lizards anymore. Didn't your kitty cat teach you to be brave? Leave me alone. Was it all make-believe? You mean monsters aren't real? I said leave me alone. Mary is a liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Suddenly, Frank the stuffed gorilla comes flying across the cafeteria and hits Bully on the back of the head. He is surprised. Bora, she asked you to leave her alone. It's none of your business, gobblebutt. Look, Jackson's eating a turkey sandwich. Go save your cousin. For the last time, Turkey is a country. I'm not related to the bird. Right, and big fluffy monsters actually exist. Mary sees the gecko in the bully's hands. She decided to put an end to this once and for all. Mary gets up and grabs the gecko from the bully's hands. Hey! Mary stomps on his foot. He instantly opens his mouth to scream. Without hesitation, Mary puts the gecko in his mouth. The bully's eyes widen in disbelief. He runs away with kids pointing and laughing as he exits. Mary picks up Frank and hands it back to Bora. Frank! Thank you for your help. Is Turkey a real place? Yeah, although it's actually called a.k.a. Were you telling the truth? Are monsters really real? Mary looks at him and says, yes. And one day, I'm going to prove it. We cut to a playground. Now it's 2017. Mary is sitting on the grass writing into a journal. She has 3 books laid out open around her. Bora is sitting nearby, looking at bugs with a magnifying glass instead of studying the sign language book by his side, next to Frank, the gorilla. Hey! Bora reaches down and picks up a cricket. Leave those ants alone! Are all crickets mean to ants? Bora flicks the cricket away. A bird swoops in and snatches it. Mary picks up one of her books. According to this, scientists believe there could be other universes out there. Some could look like ours or be completely different. The multiverse. Like one where monsters exist? Exactly. But you said you visited the monster world through a closet. Yeah? How? What makes it possible for a toddler to travel the multiverse in her bedroom? It just kind of happened. The door was open, and I remember just walking through. Well, do you remember how the doors worked? Mary closes her book and considers this. I screamed, and the doors lit up. I screamed and powered the doors. Bora, that's it! What? Mary's bedroom later. Ah! Mary screams as loud as she can. Bora is sitting on her bed with 2 pillows strapped to his head. He still attempts to cover his ears. Mary stops screaming and opens her closet door. It didn't work. I just have to try harder. What? I can't hear you! Mary gets ready to scream again. Bora, without warning, takes off his pillow helmet. Okay, that's Mary cuts him off with her scream. Ah! Bora, dazed from her scream, falls backwards and hits the wall. The room shakes, a glass vase falls and crashes to the ground, along with Mary's old bear that's been collecting dust. Mary reaches for the door and opens it. Nothing happened. It didn't work. I don't think it worked! Mary flinches at Bora's shouting. He can't quite hear correctly at the moment. What am I missing? Bora sticks his finger in his ear and scratches. It's hard to believe screaming alone will take you to another world, right? It can't be that simple. You're right. It's not that simple. The doors weren't just doors. They had containers, yellow containers that stored the screams. That's it. The containers held the energy from the screams, and that energy powered the doors. Bora, we figured it out. You just remembered all that now? I was told it was a dream my entire life. I guess I just put it all away. Mary walks to her desk and opens a drawer. She pulls out a bag with Sully's hair inside. But it was all real. I know how to prove it now. I just have to build the right door. Bora looks at her and says, one day, you will. This is when we'll insert the title card, A113. We cut to Mary's front yard. It's now 2023, present day. Mary sits on her front porch. She's drawing sketches of doors in her notebook. All the doors are similar, but they all have different devices on top. Suddenly, from a distance, Un Poco Loco can be heard playing from a car radio. Mary closes her notebook and stands up. She walks to the curb as the music gets louder and louder. At the end of the street, a Pizza Planet truck approaches. The music gets louder and louder the closer it gets. The truck slams its brakes in front of Mary. The windows slide down, and it's revealed that Bora is driving. He turns down the music. Get in! It's the biggest delivery of my life! Inside the Pizza Planet truck moments later, Mary takes a seat in the car. Frank the stuffed gorilla sits on the dashboard. Frank's also wearing a Pizza Planet uniform. Do you want to explain the music selection? This is a delivery in the name of love. Sweet, passionate love that's driving me un poco loco. Plus, Miguel just re-released all his great-grandfather's music that was stolen by Ernesto de la Cruz, and you know how much I love celebrity gossip, right? And where exactly is this delivery of love taking us? Mary looks at the order receipt on top of a pizza box. Oh, I see. Bonnie is back from college. Yes! And what is the first thing she does? Pizza Planet delivery. She missed me, Mary. Or it's the Andersons' Wednesday pizza night. Don't take this away from me. We now see the exterior of Bonnie's house. The Pizza Planet truck stops in front of Bonnie's house. Bora excitedly exits the car and runs to the front door. He rings the doorbell. Bora slicks his hair back and retucks his shirt as the door opens. Out of this world pizza at your service. Wait, Bonnie? Is that you? Bora's playing this as cool as he possibly can. Hey, Bora. It's nice to see you. They both stand awkwardly for a moment. You look great. College was nice to you. Thanks. Where's our pizza? Your pizza? Oh! Bora turns and runs. He trips and falls. Mary is walking up from the car. Mary! Bonnie meets Mary halfway and gives her a hug. Hey, Bonnie, I missed you. How's college been for you? It's amazing. I get to spend next semester at the Marine Life Institute for an internship. Wow, that's great. Yeah, what about you? How's your semester? It's fine. I'm wrapping my studies up. Hopefully soon I'll be able to find an opportunity to invent something I've always dreamed of. Bora rushes back and gets in between Mary and Bonnie. Pizza time. Oh, thank you, Bora. Bonnie turns her attention back to Mary. Do you want to come inside for a second? I actually have something I want to show you. Bora says, oh, I just have a couple pizzas left to deliver, but I'm sure our customers won't mind cold pizza. Sure, Bora. You can come in too. Inside Bonnie's bedroom. Moments later, Bonnie enters her room with Mary and Bora following behind. Bora opens his mouth in shock of entering Bonnie's room, but Mary elbows him to be quiet before he embarrasses himself. It's just right here with my other school stuff. Mary looks around her room and notices Jessie, Bonnie's cowgirl doll. Hey, you still have your Jessie doll? Of course. I've had her for so long. I can't ever give her up. She even went to college with me. You take your childhood toy everywhere you go too? You know she's valuable, right? I sold mine for pretty good money years ago. Bonnie says to Mary, we found great homes for my old toys, but she's family. Like Frank! Oh, you have to meet Frank! Bora dives out of the open bedroom window. He hasn't changed at all. It's cute. Probably for the best he didn't hear you say that. Mary and Bonnie both laugh. Bonnie goes back to digging through her school supplies. Here it is! Bonnie pulls out a flyer and hands it to Mary. A by and large product contest? Yes! You want to be an inventor, right? We have a family friend on the selection board this year. He says they're hoping for something extraordinary. Maybe something that'll change everything. Exactly! So you should apply and I'll make sure it's seen. Frank the stuffed gorilla comes flying through Bonnie's window and crashes into a shelf. Boris sticks his head through the open window. Bonnie, you remember Frank, right? From grade school? I still have him. He's my family. We're back inside Mary's bedroom. Later that night. Mary sits at her desk with a by and large flyer in hand. She stares at it for a moment, then looks at her door designs. A chance to show the world what's out there. A chance to see an old friend. Mary puts down the flyer and her designs. She turns on her computer and gets to work. We now see the exterior of By and Large's headquarters at night. The By and Large headquarters building is large and extravagant. It is the most successful organization in existence. A car can be seen driving towards the building. In the By and Large parking lot, Mr. Davis, a dark-haired, blue-eyed man in his 30s, exits his vehicle. He walks toward the building entrance with a bag in hand. He uses a key card to enter the building. Inside the building, Mr. Davis walks past a series of cubicles until reaching his. The cubicle's nameplate reads, Mr. Davis, Product Development. Mr. Davis takes a seat and boots up his computer. On his desk, a framed picture of his family can be seen, as well as a small green army man toy. Mr. Davis has a neutral expression on his face as he reads his email. Suddenly, his eyes widen and mouth drops in disbelief. He quickly jumps out of his chair and runs down the hall. As a result of his quick exit, his cubicle shakes. The small green army man falls over. Mr. Davis lets nothing stop him as he runs down the hall. Excuse me! Mr. Davis swerves multiple employees. Watch out! Mr. Davis leaps over a cart full of By and Large test products. Mr. Davis keeps running until finally reaching an office with the nameplate. This character's name will remain a surprise, but for now, we'll call him Mr. Pixar, By and Large's CEO. Inside Mr. Pixar's office. Mr. Davis storms into the office out of breath. Mr. Pixar, dressed in his best suit, stands by a window. He turns and observes Mr. Davis, panting for breath. Mr. Davis? Sir, the product development contest, it worked! I emailed you the application I was just made aware of. Mr. Pixar walks to his computer and clicks a couple of buttons. Received 2 minutes ago. You must have ran pretty fast to get here. It's urgent and highly sensitive, sir. This could be the lead we were looking for. It might be time to revisit Project A113. Mr. Pixar's demeanor changes on hearing the words Project A113. It clearly strikes an emotional nerve. In what way? Applicant Mary Gibbs. Her product pitch is a door that can teleport to a different multiverse. Multiverse? That has nothing to do with Project A113. Right. But where she wants to go does. Outside of Mary's house, Bonnie knocks on Mary's front door. She's accompanied by Mr. Davis. After a moment, Mary answers. Hey, Mary. Hey. What's up? Well, I told you I had a family friend who's working on the By and Large contest. He asked me to introduce him to you. Mary, this is Mr. Davis. Hello, Mary. You can call me Andy if you like. He's the one who gave me my cowgirl all those years ago. Bonnie pulls out Jessie from her bag. Oh, look at that. You've taken great care of her. Andy turns his attention back to Mary. Mary, I was very impressed with your entry application. So impressed that I even made sure our CEO was aware of it. Wait, seriously? You didn't think it was crazy? Not at all. A little crazy never hurt anyone. We actually believe your ideas can help us with a special project we've been developing for years. If you're up for it, I'd like to personally invite you to come visit our facilities tomorrow night. I can show you around and introduce you to Mr. Pixar. How's that sound? I would be honored. Wow. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Like I said, you can call me Andy. I'll see you tomorrow. Andy turns to leave, but stops after a moment. He turns back to Bonnie. Could I take a look at that doll? Of course. Bonnie hands Andy the Jessie doll. Andy smiles as he holds the doll in his hands, thinking about the good old days. He looks at the bottom of Jessie's boot to see Bonnie, where his name once was. His smile fades. You don't happen to still have Woody, do you? The cowboy? The cowboy. Oh, I remember. Oh, I think we gave him away a long time ago. I see. Well, that's okay. I'm sure he's happy somewhere. You mean making someone happy? Andy pauses. Yes. Mary, I'll see you at the By and Large facility tomorrow. Bonnie, please tell your family I said hello. As Andy walks away, Mary and Bonnie can be seen standing together. Mary's house the next day, nighttime. Mary and Bonnie are standing in the same spot together as they were in the last scene as Andy left. Both are wearing different clothes. Bora's Pizza Planet truck pulls up in front of them. Get in! Mary and Bonnie enter the Pizza Planet truck. Inside the truck moments later, Mary sits in the front seat next to Bora. Bonnie sits in the back with boxes of pizza. Thank you for driving us. Yeah, thanks, Bora. Bora addresses Bonnie. No problem. Mary didn't tell me you were coming with us. I would have cleaned up a little more. I'm here for emotional support. Plus, when Mary told me you were her ride, I figured you could use some company while you waited for her. Bora blushes as he almost crashes the Pizza Planet truck into a mailbox. He swerves just in time. Oh, how sweet. Bora's voice cracks. He coughs and deepens his voice. Help yourself to some pizza while you're back there. Bonnie reaches into a pizza box to grab a slice. She has a confused look on her face when she pulls out Frank instead. She giggles to herself. She pulls Jessie out of her bag and places her next to Frank. We're now at the By and Large parking lot at night. Mary gets out of the Pizza Planet truck. Bora says to her, good luck! And Bonnie adds, you got this. Mary reaches into her pocket and pulls out her plastic bag containing Sully's strand of hair. Thanks, you guys. Here I go. Inside the By and Large lobby, moments later, Mary walks into the building. Andy is waiting for her by the building elevators. You made it! Welcome to By and Large's biggest facility. Let me show you around. Inside the By and Large development wing, moments later, Andy leads Mary through a hallway surrounded by windows. As they walk through, different products can be seen through the windows being tested by the By and Large employees. Andy tells her about multiple products. That right there is pretty cool. That's the autopilot. One day we hope to launch the By and Large cruise lines, which will be piloted by this little guy here. Where would the ship go? All over the world. I'd like to see the ship visit Porto Rosso. Maybe one day we could take people on a space voyage. Wait, like leave Earth? I told you, a little crazy never hurt anyone. We're nowhere near that happening though. A couple developers on the third floor joked about designing a ship called the Axion, but they're just being creative. Andy stops in the middle of the hallway. Before we go any further, I need you to do me a favor. Oh, of course. Andy reaches into his pocket and reveals a small circular device the size of a watch. I want you to give this to Bonnie. I'm hoping she can help me with something that's personal to me. She should know exactly what this is when she gets it. Can you tell me about it? Unfortunately, we don't have time. There's someone waiting to meet you. Mary takes the device and puts it in her right pocket. Andy and Mary continue to walk down the hallway until reaching a door locked with intense security measures. Waiting next to the door is Mr. Pixar. Mary, this is Mr. Pixar, CEO of By and Large. Mr. Pixar reaches out to shake Mary's hand. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mary. I was impressed with your application. That means the world. If you would follow me, I want to show you something very important that we've been working on. Mr. Pixar places his hand on a scanner in front of the door. After a moment, the door slides open. Mr. Pixar walks through the door. Mary hesitates to follow. Andy reassures her, it's okay to be nervous. I'm coming with you. It'll be all right. Inside a By and Large secret lab moments later, Mary walks in disbelief as she enters the lab. The room is filled with incredible high-tech equipment. Mr. Pixar leads her to the center of the room. Andy stands by the door. Welcome to Project A113. Mr. Pixar taps his foot twice. Suddenly behind him, a red and white futuristic car that resembles a Mercedes-Benz Vision avatar emerges from the ground. Wow! This state-of-the-art vehicle is designed to smoothly take anyone anywhere they want to go, with no limitations. Anywhere? Anywhere. Do you know what the most powerful tool in the universe is? Money? Very useful, but doesn't compare to the powers of human emotion. That's been the case since when humans walked alongside dinosaurs. The world's greatest secrets were only made possible because people had just the right amount of love to give or experienced the right amount of fear. So, hypothetically, screams can generate power. Screams, laughter, even a sneeze can create a spark. Or You telling me my door idea is possible? 100%. That's what the A113 project is all about. So, that car can travel anywhere. Does it need a container? Something like that. Mr. Pixar and Mary walk toward the car. Mr. Pixar and Mary walk towards the car. Mr. Pixar opens the car door and reaches inside. He pulls out the A113, a metal oblate that resembles the iconic red, yellow, and blue Pixar ball. The red star on the oblate glows. Without this prototype, all we have is just an expensive car. The A113, which acts as a container, can harvest human emotion from its surroundings, powering the vehicle to go beyond what's possible. Wait, if Project A113 is exactly like my door designs, why am I here? You already developed the technology. You didn't need my input. You're right. It was impressive, don't get me wrong, but we did not need your designs in your application. I needed your story. What? Your incredibly specific example of a world where monsters are the primary species. The vision that one day people will visit Monstropolis. Yeah, traveling the multiverse. It's much simpler than that, Mary. Why did you use that example in your application? Mary hesitates. No one believes me. Mary, I've experienced more in my life than most can comprehend. Incredible things. As well as some that will haunt me for the rest of my life. Even Mr. Davis over there has discovered truths about our world that most consider to be insanity. Try us. Inside the Pizza Planet truck, taking place at the exact same time. Bonnie sits in the back seat of the truck. Boar climbs his way back to the back seat from the front seat of the truck. He's not very graceful. He smiles awkwardly at Bonnie. It was really cool of you to connect Mary with Mr. Davis. This means a lot to her. Well, she's always had such big ideas. Bonnie pauses for a moment. Does she still tell you that story from when we were little? The one about the monster world? Inside the By and Large secret lab again, happening at the same time. Mary's speaking directly to Mr. Pixar. When I was a little girl, I stumbled into a world where monsters live lives just like us. Monstropolis. It was terrifying, but exciting. I made friends who I'll cherish for my life. Friends who I were told didn't exist. Once again inside the Pizza Planet truck at the exact same time, Bonnie and Bora continue their last conversation. Bora says to Bonnie, Mary has held on to that story for as long as I can remember. She thinks about it every day. She really believes it happened. Bonnie pauses and then asks, do you believe it's true? Bora looks at Bonnie without answer. His guilty expression speaks volumes. Once again inside the By and Large secret labs at the exact same time, Mary reaches into her left pocket. Mr. Pixar watches intensely. It would have been easy to believe that everyone else was right. But if it was all in my head, then how can I explain this? Mary holds up her plastic bag containing Sully's hair. Mr. Pixar looks at Mary in disbelief. Andy says, Mary, I had no idea you had that. I don't think you understand what this means. It means I've been right this whole time. Mr. Pixar interjects. It means Project A113 can at last be completed. Do you mind if I see that strand for a moment? Mary is reluctant to give it to him. I understand what this means to you. I promise. I'll return it to you. Mary nods her head and gives him the plastic bag. Mary, I am forever in your debt. Mr. Pixar takes the plastic bag and enters the driver's side of the car. Mary follows and enters the passenger side. Inside the A113 car, the car comes to life as soon as Mr. Pixar places the A113 on the dashboard. Inside the car, Mr. Pixar removes a strand of hair from the plastic bag. In truth, the A113 container's power can turn anything, even a door, into a vessel of transportation. The more unlikely the object, the more power it must harvest, but this vehicle is the only thing in the world that can take you directly where you need to go. Mr. Pixar pushes a button on the wheel. A scanner reveals itself from the dashboard. Mr. Pixar holds up the strand of hair. It floats in the air while the car scans it. Your application was nearly perfect, but traveling the multiverse would require much more than the A113. Luckily, We don't need to travel the multiverse to accomplish our goal. A screen attached to the dashboard reveals a message that reads, "Scan complete. Would you like to journey to the year 1E-6? We just need time. Monstropolis is in the future?" Mr. Pixar exits the car. Inside the By and Large Secret Labs. "Mr. Davis, initiate phase 2. "Yes, sir." Andy hits a button attached to the wall. "Have the team bring me our eradication device. We leave immediately." Andy stops. "Wait, what?" Mary opens the car door. She is still sitting inside the car. A team of By and Large workers suddenly emerge into the room. "Eradication? Why?" "Mary, there is a lot you do not understand. I understand that you can't just appear out of nowhere and destroy their world. They're innocent. Their world is our world. On your little field trip, did you happen to notice any other humans living among you? Who's to say they didn't get rid of us, just as we did with the dinosaurs? Please, they don't deserve this." Mary turns to Andy. "Please, Andy." Andy looks defeated. He did not know what phase 2 entailed. "I'm sorry, Mary. I don't know what to do." "You'll do nothing, Mr. Davis." Mr. Pixar turns to Mary. "You're not the only one with a history with the monster-run world. I have to make things right." Inside the A113 car, Mary, still sitting in the car, makes a bold decision. She grabs the A113 and the strand of Sully's hair. She darts out of the car holding the A113 in her hand. She's running as fast as she can. Mr. Pixar screams, "No!" Mr. Pixar attempts to run after her, but collapses to the ground. He can't run. Not anymore. "No! Stop her!" The team of By and Large employees turn to chase Mary. She has a head start on all of them except Andy, who's the only one standing in her way. "Andy, I'm sorry. I have to do this." Andy looks as though he's going to grab her, but instead takes a step in between her and the rest of the employees trying to reach her. "I understand. Go!" Mary sprints out of the lab. Inside the By and Large development wing, moments later, Mary sprints down the hall, alarms flashing all around her. Mr. Pixar's voice can be heard on the telecom. "Attention By and Large employees, we have been robbed. The building is entering lockdown mode effective immediately." Inside the By and Large lobby, Mary continues to run as fast as she can with the A113 in hand. She's close to reaching the exit, but metal barriers shut down every window she runs by until all that's left is the door. Mary has no choice but to dive through the front door. The metal barrier begins to close in around the front door. Mary braces herself and dives through the air. Everything is still for a moment. Until... crash! Shatter! Glass is sprayed across the ground from the shattered door. Mary is slow to get up, now in the By and Large parking lot. She looks back at the door behind her, which is now a sealed metal barrier. She holds up the A113. Mary touches her face, wiping away blood from a fresh scratch. She runs towards the pizza plant truck. Inside the pizza plant truck, moments later, Mary swings open the passenger door to the truck, but is confused why instead of Bora, Frank and Jesse are in the front seat. Mary turns her attention to the backseat where Bonnie and Bora are sharing a pizza, both red in the face as they were caught red-handed. "Are you serious? Right now of all times?" "Hey, Mary. How'd it go?" It takes Bora a second to notice the state she's in. "Wait, what the heck happened to you?" Mary places the A113 on the dashboard, then grabs Bora to yank him to the front of the seat. She grabs both Jesse and Frank before Bora can squish them. She frantically waves the toys as she speaks. "It doesn't matter, just drive!" "What's going on, Mary? What's that thing on the dash?" "By and Large is evil, and I stole this really crazy ball-looking thing that I really don't have time to explain." Suddenly, in Mary's hands, Frank comes to life and signs to Bora. Bora looks directly at him. Frank, signing to Bora, says, "A ton of angry henchmen are running towards the car. Look." Frank points to the group of henchmen, which can be seen from the front window of the truck. Mary and Bonnie are speechless. Oblivious, Bora says, "Frank says a bunch of angry henchmen are on the way." "Wait." Bora, Mary, and Bonnie all scream together. "Ah!" The star on the A113 begins to glow. Mary throws both Frank and Mary towards the window. They ricochet off the window and fall to the dashboard. Jesse now comes to life. "Well, that was rude." Jesse stands up next to the A113, which is glowing brighter and brighter by the second. "Frank is right. Those goons are heading our way." Bora, Mary, and Bonnie scream louder. "Ah! My cowgirl doll is talking!" "The name's Jesse. Frank, you take the accelerator and I'll steer." Frank jumps off the dashboard and heads to the accelerator. Jessie jumps in the air and lands on the gear stick, causing it to switch from park to drive. She then leaps to the steering wheel. The pizza plant truck drives considerably faster than the speed limit. Jessie is steering the car as if she was running on a record player, letting out her classic phrase. Bora, Mary, and Bonnie somehow are screaming even louder. Ah! The A113 is glowing unbearably bright. The pizza plant truck can be seen zipping through the road. A bright red light can be seen from inside the car. The car suddenly disappears into a purple spark, leaving no trace except for tire tracks. End of episode 1. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the pilot episode of A113, original Pixar story following Boo, a.k.a. Mary Gibbs, as a young adult traveling through time with the pizza plant truck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much to everyone who's read it, who stuck around for this reading of it. I tried my best to make it come to life. If you love the story, please help me spread the word about it. Use hashtag BearConsA113. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram at BigScreenBearCon. Thank you guys all so much for all your support and love and the way you embrace this project. It truly means the world to me. I cannot wait to release some other things in the future. You guys have truly inspired me to share my work with you all, so be on the lookout for that. And one day, hopefully, I can release all of A113. See you guys soon.